let's create a new directory, cloud and loud 1. So we'll
this certificate, we tried to do the renewal last week, Thursday, but later we found like it has multiple dependencies, not on the D1, but also on the IDP side and
Abhi, can you please mute yourself?
We had a discussion with the
okay. 𝐾𝐞𝐯𝐻 cloud and loud 1. So inside this directory, we will work out. As I said, you should all download serverless. So the first thing that we are going to do is AWS console. And let's create a new user using IAM service. This. Cloud and loud 1. And we'll attach the policy of AWS manage job function. Next, and create user. So once we creating a user, click on this to get access key and secret key. Go to the security credentials and create access key for the command line interface. So make a note of this both. This will be access key. And this will be my secret key. Let it be there itself. So now we will try to work AWS services using serverless. Serverless is similar to Terraform. So instead like first we should log in AWS through serverless. So serverless config credentials. Serverless config credentials. Override. The provider will be AWS. Before this, we should change the directory to cloud and load because we'll be working inside this directory. Cloud and load 1. Serverless config credentials override. Provider is AWS. And the key will be this. And the secret key will be so we have logged into AWS console through serverless. Now let's create a new project of AWS Lambda. In order to create a new project of AWS Lambda, you can write this serverless command, or shortly you can write SLS, which means serverless. And we will be using Node.js because the the function that is given, let's consider the function that is given by the developer will be in a Node.js language. So AWS Node.js starter, and let's give the name of the project as Cloud and Loud SES, which is email service. Yes, and I want to deploy it. So yes. AWS Lambda. Still taking time. So let's take all the services that we are going to use. So we will be using AWS Lambda and SES service. And along with that, we will be using API doc. Yeah. So we have created a Lambda function. Let's go to AWS Lambda. So this is the function that we have created, Cloud and Loud SES development function 1. So when we go to the function, whatever we are seeing inside the index.js will be given by the developer. So will not be working much inside the index.js. Inside the index.js. So the cloud engineers most of the time will be working in service.yaml files. So if you type directory, you will be getting all the directories. So this is the function that we created now, Cloud and Loud SES. Oh, sorry. Change the directory to Cloud and Loud SES. And let's see the directories. So in these directories, we'll only be working in serverless.yaml file. Serverless.yaml. Let's open this using Notepad itself. Notepad serverless.yaml. So the service that we have created is Cloud and Loud SES, and the framework version will be 3. The provider name is AWS, and the version of Node.js that we are using is Node.js 18.x. And I'm going to explain about this using a JSON file. When you see the JSON function, this will be the function 1, which will be a default file name. index will be the file name and this will be the function one. This is a default function and handler is also a default function. How we can find this? So this is a default function and the handler, which what we are going to handle, index. This is a file name that we are going to write, which is given by the developer, which is index.js. And inside index.js, there is a function named handler. So this is handler. Instead of using this code, I will be using the code. Let's consider I will be using a code that is given by a developer. GitHub. My repositories. Lambda AWS. And I will be using this handler.js. This, consider this is given by a developer. Save this in the directory that we have created recently. Local disk user. Cloud and Loud 1. Cloud and Loud SES. And we will save this as handler.js. And we will remove the index.js that is not required because we will not be using that. And we'll remove in AWS also. So let's go back. We'll open the file that is given by a developer, which is handler.js using Notepad. Notepad handler.js. So this is a file that is given by a developer, and you can see this is a function which is inside handler.js. So the cloud engineer work is to write the name of the file as well as the function name in service.yaml. So the name of the file will be handler and the function name is create contact. And you also can mention here also create contact. Save this and then we will update this. In order to deploy, you can use SLS deploy. So before it gets completed, I will explain the next step. So right now we have created a Lambda function. Now we have to create an API gateway. So in order to create an API gateway, you can use serverless itself. So let's take serverless API gateway. We have a documentation here, so we can use that itself. we can use this. So let's see whether it is completed or not. Yeah, the service is deployed to stack. Now we have to create an API gateway. As I said, in serverless, we have a documentation in order to create an API gateway. And let's take this and we'll go to the notepad. And we'll paste it here. Events, there will be an HTTP method, and we will give this with any name like sending mail, and the method will be post because we will be using SES service to send mail. So the method will be post. Now we'll deploy again. So what we did is we created an API gateway and we created a Lambda function and we integrated these both using serverless. When we come to the SES service, we have created SES service. Yeah, when we come to the SES service, the email IDs that we are going to use should be mentioned in identities. So let's create two identities. I have created it before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and I'll be creating a new identities. Let's create two identities, email address and create an identity. When you create an identity, you should authorize because you will get an mail from Amazon in order to authorize it. So we can see this. This is done. And we have to create another identity. The identity status is verified for the one mail ID. Create an identity for this and then let's verify at the same time. And this is verified. So we have created two email IDs for the SES service. Let's see. Yeah, so we got a URI. Let's take this and so this let's take this and we'll paste it here. We have an error of missing authentication, and we'll also check in API doc too. Let's create a new project. That will be an HTTP cloud and log check. Create. And we'll create a new API. As I said, the method was post. It should be post. And this save this. And in order to run, we have to give the input. So go to the body and the input should be in JSON format. and we'll see the functions that was given by a developer. So we'll be using to, from, subject, and message. API dog, to, from, okay, the meeting will be going to end within 10 minutes, and I will make another. Okay, let me make another link for the meeting, and I will share it to you in the WhatsApp group. Before that, I'll complete this. From, to, from, subject. Is that okay for you all? And message.
Yeah, okay.
What's that? So let me give my email ID. And from, subject will be regarding checking and AWS Lambda for us. Send. We have an internal server, or we will be having a missing authentication token. So I will explain this again in the next meeting link. Let me share you another meeting link by exiting from here. Is that okay? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Darshan, that is
Yes,
absolutely
Darshan.
fine.
Yeah, okay,
There is-
Darshan.
Yeah, wait. There is still seven minutes. Let us let us try to remove this error, and we'll go to the other concept in the next meeting link until the time ends. So there is authentication error because we are using SES service as well as Lambda service. In order to access one service from another service, we should have a policy. Like we should give a policy for the user. We will check that also. So serverless IAM role for SES. Let's take this one. IAM role statements effects this, and we'll update our service.yaml. So you are getting it right why I'm doing this. So in IAM role, in IAM user, I will be adding a role and the statement is I will be allowing all the permissions, but I will not be using S3 bucket. I will be using SES service because Lambda function should contact with SES service of all activities and resources will be all. Let's save this and then we will deploy it again. SLS deploy. So what I did is I gave a permission policy in order to access one service using another service. Okay. Let's see whether am I getting an error again. Let's see. API dot send. Post will be save this, run this using JSON. Okay. Message. There is still internal server error. We'll try to remove this error. I will share you the another link. There is still there is two minutes.